From Las Vegas, the Entertainment Files. With Nick Lewin and Sean Ross. This week's special guest, Master Magician Lance Burton. Welcome to the Entertainment Files. I'm Nick Lewin.
And I'm Sean Ross.
Well, we have a great show today. I am very excited because as a guest, we have a gentleman who has been described as the finest magician of this century. And I don't think there's many people would argue about it. He is a brilliant manipulative performer who has become a Las Vegas legend. That is Lance Burton. He's also one of the nicest people in magic. Ask any magician. And we've got him right here on the show today.
That's right. We're going to cover the early years up into what he's doing now. Plus, we're going to have trivia and video picks. And if you take a look at your screen right now, look at the trivia question. Then we'll be back with the answer and much, much more. So be sure to stay with us.
Welcome back to the Entertainment Files. Well, we're very excited today. Our guest is one of the top magicians in the world. You will see him on television. He's got a fabulous show here in Las Vegas at the Monte Carlo. Ladies and gentlemen, Lance Burton.
Hey, how you doing,
Lance?
Nick, Sean?
What a
Good
pleasure.
to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks for that great intro.
Well, it's
I'm looking
true.
around going, are they? Who else is on the show?
You've heard this before, because I think of all the people in magic who have really made it big, I can't think of anyone who has got the public support amongst magicians that you have. People have just followed your career from the first. It's been very exciting to see such nice things happen to such a nice guy, and I think I speak for every magician.
Well, I've always, loved hanging out with magicians. I mean, most of my friends are magicians or comedians, and so I just sort of came up through the ranks in the magic world.
Well, you did. Now, we got to tell some people out there. They
beginnings.
want to know a bit about you. Where were you born? You were born in
Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky. So.
Or Louisville, if you live there.
Louisville.
Yeah,
that's
if
good.
you live there, it's one syllable. Louisville.
Oh, this is good. I'm learning some Southern now.
It was named after King Louis XVI of France, so the proper, I guess, pronunciation is Louisville. But you can tell if someone is really a hillbilly, a real hick, down in the southern part of Kentucky, they say Louisville.
Oh.
That's how you can tell. Yeah.
There you go. Now, see, I'm primed for this now.
Trivia doesn't stop.
And so that's what. Now, was there a magic store there?
Yes, there.
There
You know
was.
what? There was a magic shop there in Louisville, still there, called Caulfield's Novelties, and I remember going there when I was a kid. My mom took me down there and bought the little magic tricks, and then I worked there as a demonstrator when I was about 18 years old, as did Mac King.
That's right. We're talking to Mac on our radio show.
He had all good things to say.
He did. He told us about the Mac and Lance show.
Yes, the Mac and Lance show.
You used to just hang out with him because he was a chick magnet, wasn't he?
He was.
I know, that's kind of what he told us. He said,
exactly.
Lance
And you did a
would
show
just
at
do-
amusement parks, didn't you?
We had a summer job at a little place called Tombstone Junction down at Cumberland Falls, Kentucky. And it was one of these Western theme towns. It was they had gunfights in the streets, and they had country music shows, and they had a train, a real steam locomotive, and then in the saloon we had our magic show, and we did that 3 times a day, 7 days a week, all summer long.
That's and you did every magician did almost the things you were saying. Maybe this is why that
know what?
solid support. I mean, I worked in the magic store, and I did, and this is the way you really hone that craft. But what made it first magic for you? When was the moment when you suddenly said, "I have to be a magician"?
Oh well, the first time I saw a magician was very young. I was 5 years old, and it was a Christmas party. My mother worked at the Frito-Lay plant in Louisville, making potato chips, and they had their employees' Christmas party. And there was a fellow there that did magic. His name was Harry Collins. He was a very fine magician, and he did a magic show, for the Christmas party. And I was the little boy that volunteered to go up on stage, and he did the Miser's Dream. Which, as you know, is a classic of magic. It's where you pull silver dollars out from behind the little kid's ear and under his elbow, and this keeps going on and on. And I was amazed, I'd never seen a magician before. And I didn't really understand at that time that it was a sleight of hand trick. I really thought I had money hidden all over my body, and that's what got me hooked on magic.
And it was the culmination, the trick. Was that your first time on stage?
Yes, that was the first time.
Excitement of being on stage.
Of getting up on stage and hearing the audience laugh, but just being able to see the magic up close was had a really big impact on me. And I went home and I want to be a magician now, but I didn't know how to start, so I just tried to make up my own tricks, and they weren't very good. But my interest in magic continued, and finally, one day, the lady that lived next door to us, her children were grown, but she found the little magic book that one of her sons had when he was a boy, and it was Magic Made Easy, and it had 10 tricks in it, and she gave this to me. So now I had a book that explained how to do these tricks, the secrets.
You had 10 tricks. You had an act.
And I had an act,
That's
exactly.
Right.
So I learned the 10 tricks, and I started doing shows for my family.
Did the early influences, did they help your kind of image, your style, you think of Lance Burton, you think traditional, classical?
Really, you don't realize how things from your childhood affect you throughout your life. But Harry Collins was the first magician I ever saw. He was a very fine magician, very traditional. Wore the tails and the bow tie, and was really what you would think of when you think of a magician. Very elegant, and that sort of influenced my image of what a magician was supposed to be. And then, in the 70s, Doug Henning became very popular. And Doug, of course, went totally the opposite direction. He had the long hair and the rainbow-colored shirts and the tennis shoes and the whole, sort of 1960s hippie, flower child aura about him. And what happened was all the other magicians started imitating Doug Henning. Everyone wanted to be Doug Henning.
See.
So I was a teenager at that point, and then I thought, if everyone else is sort of going in that direction, sort of following the Doug Henning style, I'll make a really conscious decision to go towards the traditional magician in the tales and classical music.
And the classical music,
and I'll be different.
That was such an amazing impact. And you had a lot of magic contests, didn't you? That was, in fact, we should talk. We've got a clip, I believe. You're working now with Kellogg's, and they have a contest.
Yes,
which is very interesting.
We're sponsoring a contest. This is Kellogg's is introducing a new Rice Krispies called Razzle Dazzle Rice Krispies, and we're having a nationwide search to find the best young magician in the country, ages 6 through 12.
That's great.
The finals will be held in Las Vegas on November 21st, and all the 6 finalists will all be flown to Las Vegas with their families, and they all get a $250 not a gift certificate, a savings bond, and the winner gets a $500 savings bond. So it's real exciting to get the kids involved.
We've got a clip. Let's look at that clip.
That was amazing. The Razzle Dazzle Me contest.
That's
World's giant box of cereal.
I like that. And that's going to happen here in Vegas. You're going to have a winner, and it's going to be, can we get a clip to play on the show?
Sure.
That would be great. Or have,
we'll
maybe we can have the young magician. I've started doing magic at about 10, so I have a lot of affection for the excitement, the work that goes into those concerts.
The kids starting up. I noticed next door to your theater you have a shop, and they're like starter kits. I mean, would that be good for a kid?
Yeah. That's all of us generally started out with a magic set you get for Christmas or birthday, and then once you got the magic set, now you got professional props.
Well, you actually have wonderful props in your shop. One of the differences is you have some lines of magic that are real magician things. You've got the Ken Brook line.
Yeah.
Ken was my mentor in magic.
Yeah, sure.
And, I mean, it's amazing for me to see those there, but that's really the way to start kids
we
in
have
the right direction.
We have, the beginner kits for just starting out, and then we like to have some stuff for people that are a little more advanced.
That's right. Well, that's exciting. Now, we're breaking this into 2 parts. I guess the big break for you was the Carson show.
Appearing on Johnny Carson,
which was historical.
October 28th, 1981.
And what was historical about it was that he did something unprecedented where he didn't give you the usual segment. He let you take that full 12 because he was so amazed by what you were doing.
What happened was my act, I was doing the Bird act at that time. That was the only act I had. It was 12 minutes long. And they told me, said, well, you can't do the whole 12 minutes, but bring the whole thing to rehearsal, and we'll you'll probably only be able to get like 6 or 7 minutes. So I went over to the Tonight Show and I did the rehearsal, and then after the rehearsal, I was talking to the stage manager, and I see this hand coming towards me out of the corner of my eye, and I reach out to shake the hand, and I look up, and there's Johnny Carson on the end of the hand. I was like, "Oh wow, nice to meet you." And
must have been
it was a thrill, yeah,
an
of course.
amazing moment. Well, we're going to have to take a break, but now, just for a moment.
Okay.
Because I've got a million questions.
I understand.
And I know everything reached change. Nothing was the same after that Carson show, was it? Well, we're going to be right back with more Entertainment Files, right here with Lance Burton.
Welcome back to the Entertainment Files. We're talking with Master Magician Lance Burton, not only the favorite magician of Johnny Carson, but also now Jay Leno. And of course, we were talking about that historical moment, and it really changed things for you, didn't it?
Yeah, that was my first time on national television or on any television show. I was telling you about meeting Johnny Carson. So anyway, after a few minutes, the talent coordinator comes over and says, Johnny saw the act, and he says, let the kid do the whole 12 minutes. So it was actually Johnny personally intervening, saying, yeah, let him do the whole 12 minutes. So they put me on as the first guest, and they let me do 12 minutes. And then the next guest was, now I'm blanking out. He had his own talk show. He used to be a writer for Carson. Oh, I'm embarrassed now. I can't. Anyway, the next guest was another magician. An amateur magician, and so now Carson, Dick Cavett.
Dick Cavett,
Cavett. There you go.
And Johnny and Dick Cavett sat out there and then talked about magic and about my act for the next 12 minutes.
Well, that's handy stuff.
So that was my first time, and that was a big break for me.
And you won the FISM. You won. Now, a lot of people out there do not know this. That is the gold medal. It's the Olympics of Magic.
The Fédération Internationale Société de Magique.
Wow.
That's
that good?
Did you hear that French accent in there?
I like that. You did learn that in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And that officially acclaimed you the #1 magician in the world.
It was. Well, I don't know if it's the #1 magician in the world, but it was. It's like the Olympics. It's like winning a gold medal at the Olympics.
Right. Well, they may not be the fastest person, but they're the fastest person competing
that
in the most
day.
important event.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and then everything just took off. I remember the buzz in L.A., where I was living at the Magic Castle, used to appear down. There was a little club. I don't know if you remember this.
I remember.
The Body Shop.
The Body Shop on Sunset Boulevard.
It was a great place, and magicians would come down. And,
it was not a magic club. It was a strip club.
That's
is what
right.
it was.
I wasn't going to say that, but it was. It was a lot of fun, and that's where people, I think, really discovered so much of what you did.
For some reason, all the magicians wanted to come down to the Body Shop to see me work, and they'd
did.
stay all night long to see both shows. It was
probably
amazing.
people that wanted to discover magicians too would be the preference of choice going down to the
That's
strip
right.
club.
Yeah.
You know, we've got you here. You couldn't do a trick for us, could you?
I'd love to do a trick for you. Do you have a $1 or a 5 or 10
I get paid for this. I got one somewhere.
or a 20 would be even better?
Oh,
Oh,
like
look,
a
he's
20.
got the big money. The
Oh
20.
yeah, you can have a
Great.
20. You bet.
Great. And I'm just going to fold this up, Nick. Now, Nick, you've been in Las Vegas now, what, 3 years?
Just about.
Something like that. Now, let me ask you a question. You're a local now. Do you gamble? Do you ever play the slot machines? Do you ever go out and try your luck?
I gamble in Vegas. I drive in Vegas. The way they drive here.
I guess you're right. I guess we all gamble in Vegas. But I have to tell you, I've lived here 15 years, and I've never gambled. I remember the first night I was in Las Vegas, I went to see the Folies Bergère because that was a show I was going to open in the next night, and it was a dinner show, and the couple sitting across from me finished their dinner, and they got up to leave to go back out in the casino. And I said, "Aren't you going to see the show?" And they said, "No, we were comped in here by the casino. We just came in to get the free dinner." And that was, it blew my mind that they didn't want to see the show, that they were just here for the gambling. And I thought, this gambling stuff can really get to be a serious deal.
Powerful stuff.
So I've always sort of avoided the gambling. But having said all that, I'm going to show you how you can win playing the slot machines.
Black belt in origami.
And now I've made this little. Now he's worried about his money now.
Yeah,
He's getting worried. I just formed it into a little cone. Now, Nick, I know you're worried about your money, so I'm gonna give you a little collateral. There's a little rabbit.
Oh,
no,
good.
no, no, I'm
Yeah,
not going to do the rabbit trick for you. Here's a little collateral, some coins there, and I want you to, oh, I'm sorry, wait a minute. We don't want the pennies. We just put those back. We just want the quarters. Let me put the pennies back in the purse. Now I want you to take those quarters, Nick, and I want you to count them one at a time out loud into the tray.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them.
6 quarters and the little cone. Now, Nick, I want you to take the cone and I want you to examine it. I want you to hold it up to the camera, show them the inside of it. Hold it up to the light, Nick.
Nothing up there.
Look inside.
Nothing there at
make
all.
sure there's no trap doors. Make sure there's no mirrors
Not
or
a
threads
thing.
inside it. It's just a little cone made out of your $20 bill. Now, Nick, I'm going to need you to help me with this. Hold your hand out, palm down like that, and I'm going to balance the quarters on the back of your hand. And your part in this trick is to remain perfectly still. Now, you'll notice that the cone goes over the quarters, and it's folded up to fit perfectly. Now, the cone is the slot machine. You see, I told you I'm going to show you how to win at the slot machines using magic. The quarters, that's the jackpot. Now, the idea is you want to get the money out of the slot machine. And I'm going to show you how to do that doing magic. Now, there's the cone. I want you to look at it one more time, Nick. The cone is empty. It's going to happen on the count of 3. I'll snap my fingers. I'll pull on your wrist. I'll pull on your finger. And that's when the magic will happen. All I want you to do, Nick, with your other hand, hold the plate right there underneath. One more time. There's the quarters. If I were to move those quarters or touch them in any way, you'd be the first one to know, Nick, because you can feel them on the back of your hand.
I can feel them right there.
There, one more time. There's the cone. It's empty. I cover the quarters on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Pull on the finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quarters
6
right through your hand,
quarters.
but you still feel something on the back of
I
your hand,
do.
don't
What
you,
is
Nick?
it?
That's the part that amazes me. How those 6 pennies.
All right.
Got it?
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool.
And let's see. Now, as I remember, the coins were yours and the $20 bill was mine. Is that correct?
Nice try.
Okay.
That is great. It's wonderful to watch you do close-up, because you do all kinds of magic, don't you?
You know what, Nick?
You really covered it all.
I love all types of magic. I mean, in my show, I do stage magic because there's 1,200 people in the audience.
Right.
But I've always loved close-up magic. It's just, and I don't get to do it that much. I mean, I just do it for fun, just to entertain people.
You know, we have a clip. Can we do one? Let's do one more clip if we may, just so people
Sure.
can see. Yeah. All right, that's a great clip. It looks very exciting. What's that from, Les?
This is that's from The World's Greatest Magic. It airs on November 26 on NBC at 8 o'clock. It's a 2-hour special. There's 20 magicians on the
20
show.
magicians.
And
Wow.
I do the big finale. I'm handcuffed and chained, locked in this mailbag, locked in the back seat of a police car, and I have to escape before the car's dropped into an industrial shredder. And I have to escape before the car is shredded up.
Can't wait to see that.
You know, that's why
I made it. I'm here, obviously.
That's why when you're a nice guy, if you had 19 other magicians who haven't hit the pinnacle you have, you wouldn't want them around when all this was happening.
So my little
That
glue
might
in the
be-
locks,
Yeah, just a
little
little.
bird shot in the locks. There you go.
That's it. But we got one other thing we do on the show. We always ask our guests their 5 favorite movies.
Movies.
If you were going to a desert island, what would be the flicks you'd
Okay,
take
Give
with
me
you?
a VCR there.
First of all, I'd have to take Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, that's
because
great movie.
my whole life is based on that movie.
Okay.
I'd have to take Citizen Kane,
Citizen
obviously.
Kane. All right.
And then I think the rest would probably be like, well, The Wizard of Oz. I like to see that one over and over again. Star Wars.
The classics.
And I got to have a 5th one. Let me think.
A guilty pleasure.
Oh.
A guilty pleasure.
Can't be a
Guilty
classic.
pleasure.
Maybe RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Yeah,
Oh, this is a
RoboCop.
good list. It's amazing how much you really can learn about somebody from the movies they choose.
I like all those science fiction fantasy movies. I like the movies with Arnold and James Bond and
And they're making a peak right now, just like Magic's at its peak.
those are my kind of movies.
Oh,
Action,
the Bond movies. Now that
fantasy.
Shredder, was that like in the Goldfinger
Exactly.
Shredder?
That's where
Oh.
it wasn't my idea. The producers came up with. They said, "What could we do?" And I thought, Goldfinger. Remember when he was put into the
Sure.
cruncher?
Those are
The
great
car was
scenes.
crunched into a cube. Well, they found out they don't use those anymore. Now they shred them into pieces of shrapnel, which is even more terrifying.
And that's going to be on the special. We have to take a break. We're going to be back with our video picks, and maybe you'll throw one in too.
Welcome back to the Entertainment Files, and as you could see, the answer was Get to Know Your Rabbit. That's a movie where Tom Smothers was a tap-dancing magician. That's a hard one.
That's right. You guessed that one.
I guessed it.
And that had Orson Welles in it, who was a big magic buff.
Oh, yeah. In Vegas for a while.
That's right. And that was my video pick, and that's Casino Royale. It got a bad rap when it came out, this movie, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. But apparently Peter Sellers was so temperamental that he would not be in the studio on the same day as Orson Welles. So their climactic big card game was shot on separate days, different things. But Orson Welles does the classic Azra, Floating of a Lady. It's gorgeous. How about a video pick from you for On Magic?
Video pick from me will be Houdini, starring Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh. And Bill Larson.
And Bill Larson,
our
as
old
we
friend
now
Bill.
discover. That's right.
Well, I'll pick a little movie. You probably haven't seen it. It's called The Escape Artist. It starred Griffin O'Neill, and he plays a young talent who is sort of exploited by the adults around him. It was Desi Arnaz's last film, and it's out there on videos.
That's right. Harry Anderson was in that.
Harry Anderson was in that.
I remember when
also
that came out.
Some of the original Bowery Boys, Hunts Hall and Gabriel Dell.
That was a fun one.
Was that a made-for-TV movie?
No, actually, it was produced by Francis Ford Coppola was the executive producer, and it was a theatrical film.
It was a fun. I have a copy of that too. I'm going to have to send you some movies. And people can see you at the Monte Carlo for the next
12 years.
12 years.
Yes, 12 more years
Wonderful
to go.
show. And if people haven't seen it, you really have to come by and see
thank
it.
you.
Everyone in Magic was so proud with the theater, the show, and what you did. And we very much appreciate
and
you
that's
being.
something even Houdini didn't get to, did he?
That's
Having
right.
his own theater.
Nope. You started the trend.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
Well, thank you very much indeed for
Thanks,
guesting
Nick.
with us.
Thanks, Sean.
Lance, really appreciate
All right. We'll be back with more Entertainment Files next week.
it. We'll talk to you then.